I'm bringing you a tag for my Wild Orchid Craft design project. This is the back of the tag that I'm doing this week. I've used several different paints on there, some glossy accents and some texture paste. That's the back. This is the side we're going to be working on. It's quite thick. It's a quite thick MDF tag. It's from Fernley Designs. So let's get cracking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight in, and anything I use flower wise or embellishment wise from Wild Orchid Crafts I will put in the details box below the video. If I need to speed up any boring bits, that's what will happen. Okay, so let's get cracking. So first of all, I want to go in with a gesso. Whatever gesso you've got is fine. You don't have to have a specific type, as long as it's white, because we're doing quite a light tag. This is like it's pale blues and off-whites, so you want to go in with white gesso. Now we use gesso as a base for canvases, and the same applies to MDF and wood and what have you, because they soak in the wood, because the wood and MDF soak in paint. Gesso works out cheaper as a base rather than using your acrylic paints as bases. So instead of going straight in with your acrylic paint, which the wood or MDF or whatever will soak up, you go in with your primer, which is your gesso, and that, as I said, primes your wood, it seals it, but it also gives that bottom coat that your acrylic paint can cling to without using too much acrylic paint, because it's not going to soak into the wood, because the gesso is already there doing that job for you. So that's why we use gesso on this kind of a project. Like I said, if you're doing a darker colour, you could start with black gesso, because that would make the darker colours that you're using more intense. So that's that. So let's give this a quick blast. Doesn't have to be perfectly dry, because we're going in with an acrylic paint now anyway. So I'm using this acrylic paint from Indigo Blue. It's called Pantry White, if you're interested in the colours. So the Pantry White is a really off-white. It has like a greyish undertone to it. So I'm going to go in with this, and when I go in with this, I'm actually going to go in with the next colour while it's wet. We're not going to be drying this, because I want to be able to drag the colour through like I have on the other side. And to be able to do that, I've got to have wet paint. It's a wet on wet technique, so it needs to be wet for that to work. Otherwise the paints would just drag through. So that's that. I'm actually going to get some water. The one thing I forgot. Right, I'm back. Sorry about that. That was only a second anyway. So you just need to get, I'm not even going to use this brush for this part, but you want to get the acrylic off there, otherwise it will ruin your brushes. Right, so now I'm going in with this. It's going to be a dry brush, and I'm going in with, now that Pantry White's on there, I'm going in with Frosty Sky, which is a nice, really nice pale blue, and I mean really pale. And this also has a grey undertone to it. It looks like light grey. Now what I'm doing here is I'm not using the flat of the brush, I'm using the chisel of the brush, and I'm literally just dragging colour down through this Pantry White colour, like you kind of would with a distress ink. So like you would do with a distress ink from the edge and drag down, you're doing exactly the same with your paints, and you get that effect. Yeah, so that's that. Don't bother cleaning your brush because you're going straight in with the next colour, which is Grandma's Teacup, and that's a darker blue. And with this one, I'm not actually using a lot. I'm using next to nothing because I only want this colour right on the edge. And I'm going to blend this in a minute. So that can go. If you find this isn't too dark, this is just right colour, but if you find it's gone too dark at the edges and you don't like it, go back in with your Pantry White or your lighter blue to lighten it up a bit. But I'm happy with that. So now I'm just going to go over this quickly, and I'm going in with the Do Crafts acrylic paint that I use a lot of, and this is the pearl one. Alright, I'm just literally pulling this down just a little bit, so there's hardly any on my brush, and I'm doing the same effect like a chisel on the chisel, like just a sweeping motion. It's just to give it that pearl effect. You can even, if you want, go in with your finger here. So you're literally just dragging colour through. So you're getting a pearlised effect. Okay, so that's that done. Put my brush in there. So you're getting that effect now, which is the same as the front, as the back, sorry. And the only thing I added afterwards, which I won't do until I've finished, is the glossy accents just dripping down. You can also do that with your hot glue gun, but for time's sake, I'm not going to bother with that bit. Right, so I'm just going to dry this now because I need this to be bone dry. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with a mask, and this is a 6x6 mask from the Crafters Workshop, and it's a, oh, I don't know, what's that called, Harlequin or whatever. I can't see what, oh yeah, mini Harlequin, there you go, and I didn't even know the name of it. It's just that design. So decide whereabouts you want it. And we're not looking for, actually I want it on this side, we're not looking for it to be uniformed, we want it to be sketchy. So for now I'm using this texture paste. I am going to make my own texture paste, but I've got this, so I'm going to be using this for now. So you just go in where you want, so where you think, and I'm using a palette knife because I'm a painter, so I've got a lot of palette knives. I paint with those, so I prefer to use that. You can use, if you haven't got a palette knife, you can use an old knife, you can use an old credit card, you can do whatever you want. as long as you scrape it through the holes and then scrape the excess off the top, like so. I'm just going to go down to the bottom there, and I don't want this perfect, so I'm just going to leave that there. Now scrape the excess off because you don't want to waste. Make sure you got it where you want it and lift it off, and then put that straight into the water that you've got at the side of your few paintbrushes, because if you don't and it hardens on there, it's going to be a bit hard to get off, and you could ruin perfectly good masks, and I've only used this twice, so I don't want to ruin it. Right, so that's that bit. Now I want to dry this. You could leave this to dry naturally, but for video's sake I want to rush it, so I'm going to give it a blast of my heat gun. Don't go too close with your heat gun with the texture paste, because it can bubble, so you don't want that, so don't go too close with it. Ideally I'd let this dry naturally, and that would only take half an hour if that, so, but I'm in a rush, as you know. Also, if you go too close it could yellow because you're burning it. Right, so that's that bit done. Put that to one side. As you can tell, I'm still in my kitchen. Right, so got that out of the way. Right, what I want to do now is I'm just going to tidy it around here. Right, what I want to do now is I'm going to show you a little bit of painting. And I need my paintbrush. So I'm using, when I find the paintbrush, I had it here, so where's it gone? That's strange. No, it's not. Silly me. It's still in the water. Right. So I just need to dry this off. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going to use this poppy stamp, and it's just as a base, just so I can see where I'm going with my paint. So don't want to have a dark colour on this, so I'm just going to use a distress ink, and it's literally just for guidelines. There's no right or wrong. I don't actually want to see the ink afterwards. I just want to see the ink for now. So what I've done is, you can just about see them, but what I've done is I've actually inked two of the poppies on there. I'm just going to go over that bottom one again because I can't see it properly, and it doesn't matter if it's perfect or not because I'm painting. I don't need a block or anything like that because I'm not going to be using it long enough. Right, that's grand. Right, so let's get them out the way, and I'm going to go in with my paintbrush here, and this is a number, well, it's not a number, it's 1/2 inch paintbrush, and I'm going to go in with a different acrylic paint. I'm not using these because they're too thick for this technique. For this technique you need paints that are not too thick. They are thick, but they're not too thick, and they've got like a flow to them, where the others haven't got a flow. They're too creamy, they're too thick. So I want that colour. And I want this white. You could use gesso if you haven't got a white acrylic. You could use gesso for this part, because gesso flows just as well as this does. And then I want a tiny bit of this darker blue. These colours they're by Pebeo, and this one's called Cretan Blue. This one's white, obviously, and this one's called Dark Blue, and they're all matte. Now for this one, I want a tiny bit. Right, and basically I'm just going to paint these poppies in. I'm not looking for any definition, I'm just painting them in. So what I want to do is the one stroke technique. So I'm going to get half of this, I haven't done this for a long time, and half of this. So one part is dipped in the brush, in the blue, and the other part is dipped in the white. And you're making a back and forth motion using your mat as a palette, if you will. And you're just blending in the colours on your brush. And you're literally working your colours down your brush. You don't want to go too far down your brush because you don't want it mucky at the bottom. And I'm happy with that. And now I'm just going to dip the edge in that dark blue. I haven't done this for ages. Right, so I'm just going to go in and do my first petal. I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm actually going to just try and pan down a little bit for you so you can see this a bit closer. Okay, right, yeah. So what you want to do is I want this darker blue at the bottom of the petal. So I'm doing the white towards the top. So I'm holding it that way. What I want to do is where the middle of the flower is, I want to sit my brush down. I'm not going anywhere, I'm just sitting the brush down, and then I'm going to move the brush and just follow the outside line of this petal. Okay, and then I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. I'm following the outside line of this petal. And again, put your brush in the middle and follow the outside line. Go around again. So you're just sitting your brush down. You're not actually doing a lot of work with your brush. You're just sitting it down and then painting around the outside line. That's a bit dry there. There you go. I just want to go back over this one again a little bit to give it a bit more emphasis, a bit more oomph. And there you go. That's just breaking up as it's hitting the texture paste, which is fine because we want it to look natural. You could have gone over the texture paste afterwards, but I wouldn't personally. Right, so I'm going to do the same thing again, and I'm going to just go a bit faster this time. Sorry, I've just realised I might have been out of shot there. turn it again. And again. And again. So these are my Himalayan poppies. Himalayan poppies have a blue tone to them. Well, they've got two or three blue tones to them, and then a bit of white. Now, with this here, oh yeah, I'll use the dark blue as a base for the middle. So all I'm doing is pouncing. Could have done with a round brush for this. A scruffy brush would be brilliant for this. I have got one, but I've left it somewhere, not in this room. So I'm just pouncing on top to make the centre. So you're literally just putting the centre back in that you took out. And then, just for a bit of highlight, I don't want that. And there you go. So that's them done. I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to give this a dry. You can come back out on here now. So all I'm doing is just drying these so I can actually now then work over them. Yeah, they're dry. So now I can work over them now, you see, without worrying about getting anything with paint all over it. And there you go. So that's them done. Right, so get rid of them paint because I've used what I needed to use on them. Right, and now I'm going to go in with my first lot of flowers. I've decided on all white except for maybe a couple of blue, and they just happen to be the blue poppies that Wild Orchid Crafts do, so that's very apt. They didn't happen to be, I picked them up. So let's get some of this on here, and I'm going to start here with one of the big white roses. Now, as I said, I'll put all the details in the box below of the flowers that I've used. So here I'm using one of the GYPSOPHILIA, and I want to tie that in with one of the white lilies. I'm going to bend that out a bit, and then you just twist it around the main GYPSOPHILIA. I'm going to cut off the end because I don't need all that. And I'm actually going to put, I'm actually going to wrap round a couple of the stamen, the pearl stamen, not the pearl stamen, the 100 white stamen that you can get. And another one. And these are on a really good wire, so they don't lose their shape, they don't flop about. So when you put them around something and then close them up and twist them, they will stay in place. They don't need any other encouragement to stay where you've put them. So I'm making, in effect, I'm making a spray. Okay, and I'm going to put, I don't think I don't think Wild Orchid Crafts do these anymore, but these are the, I'm not sure, I'll check, but these are the white little Gypsophilia. You get them in bunches, but most of you probably have some of these at home if you've bought from them in the past, because they were in abundance, and you do get a lot. They actually look like this, so they're tiny little flowers. And I did have, yeah, one of my tulip heads came off, so I'm going to add that as well. Don't ever throw away what you think are bits of lace, bits of flower. Even these green stems, when you're not using them, you will need them for other jobs. You might use them, I use the green stems for curling around a cocktail stick or a toothpick, and then adding it to arrangements. I'll show you what I mean if you don't get what I mean. And you can also cover them in a paper, or you can paint them white. In this case I'm not going to, I'm just going to put it on as green. Oop. There's my tulip that had no stem on it, so I'm just sticking that, so I'm adding that to the arrangement. Let me come in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. There you go. Right, let's bring that light down a little bit. That's it. Now, I'm now going to be arranging, hang on a second, I want to cut that off. This is a magnolia, I love these. I'm now going to be arranging my flowers around this. I'm also wondering whether to put some pearls at the bottom of there or some bling. I think some pearls. I don't think the bling would look right. Let me get my tweezers so I don't burn my finger. I've already burnt my finger once today. About 2 minutes ago. Sorry about the traffic going by that you can hear. If you can hear it. You probably can. I had to open the kitchen. It's evening time, but I had to open the kitchen window because it was so hot. Right. So that's that. Then I'm going to go in with a rose, and see what I mean about twisting the stems. So what you do is you get your rose like that. Don't take the stem off. You get a cocktail stick and you lie at the side of there, and then you just twist. Take it all the way around the cocktail stick and then pull away. So this one I'm actually going to use here, but I'm going to leave the stem, just going to cut that edge off. I'm going to leave the stem sticking out so it's like that. Yeah? Put a blob of glue on there. And have it like that. So you see what I mean? So your part sticks out. So it adds to the whole thing. This one here, I'm going to put in there. Remember what I said about your glue string as well. When you're finished, if you just give your project a quick blast with your heat gun, but not too close because you'll melt stuff. And that way it will get rid of all the stringy bits that you've got if you've required any stringy bits. I think I'll have a couple of the mulberry leaves. I don't want to cover too much of my poppies up, but I wanted them more as a background rather than a main feature. I do use them a lot as main features, but this time, in this instance, I don't want to. I'm going to do that there. Yeah. No, I'll do it there. Yeah, this is an orchid, one of the orchids. I'm going to do it there actually. And I've left the wire on this as well. because I'm actually going to put that underneath that one and then press that down. And a second, let me get a grip of that. That's it. Right, let's see if I can. Yeah, I'm going to put one of these in here. These are the lovely little blue poppies that I've come across in my stash from a few years ago, them actually. So I'll have to check if they still sell them. I think they do. I'm not sure if they sell them in the blue though. I just want to get that, stick that in there. Do I want some bling? Do I want some? Oh yeah, I might do a bit of bling there actually. Just so it's hidden. Just a little bit of it sticking out. Typical is for the traffic to get heavy while I'm doing my video. Do I want a bird? Yeah, let's have a bird. Let's have one of the doves. Just flying off. No, I'm not going to put that in that. I don't think I'll put this in this arrangement. I was going to, but I don't think I will. Let's have a look at this. No, I think that's enough actually on that part. Oh, I might put a couple of these in. Make sure that's down. And sorry, my fingers are in the way, but I need to be able to do this. There you go. And I'll just put another lily there. Yeah, why not? And any places where you feel like, you know, there's a gap and you've got a bit of glue showing, you're not keen on it, just stick a pearl in there. I haven't brought my pearls out, but in this instant, I'm going to stick one of these in there. One of the diamante circles that I've put up there already. I'm going to put one in there, just so it's sticking out, so you can just about see it, like that. You can just about see it sticking out there. Right, now I've got some of the white lace, and I'm just going to form a loop and then do a slip knot through here. So I'm just going to poke this through. Bring that back through there. And I leave it like that. You can use seam binding. I have some seam binding, but I just thought this white lace looked prettier with this project. And I'm going to use this pearl button. Use that pearl shank button. So I've just pressed the shank in there. You can glue it, but this fits in lovely. I was going to put this on. Actually, I will do. So I'm just going to put this to one side quickly. And I'm just going to go over with a small brush and this pantry white, and I'm literally painting the word happy. It's just a wooden word that I've got in the stash. And I don't want to leave it wood because it wouldn't blend in with anything. So I'm just going to give it a quick going over with the paint. It doesn't have to be perfect by any means. It's a good job because I'm doing it. I am actually, that's wrong. I'm a stickler for getting things right, so I was a bit harsh on myself there because I do like to get things right. Attention to detail, that's what gets your work looked at, and that's what gets your work beautiful. So I'm just going to blast this quickly. I didn't realise I was out of shot there, sorry about that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn that over. I'm going to get some of my trusted Cosmic Shimmer glue, acrylic glue. This dries fast, it dries in about 5 minutes. And it is very good for your MDFs and your wood. Very good. So I'm literally going to put that there. Just hold it in a second. No, I'm not going to put that there. No, I'm not going to put anything there. I'm going to leave that because I'm happy. I'm happy with that. So there you go. I'll just quickly go over it. And there is our finished tag. As pretty as it is. Okay? I hope you like this project, and I hope you come back next week where I will have something new to show you again. Bye for now.